Here to chat about Mike Gundy and the Oklahoma State football program, Haisten and Emig and Bill Haisten, the two Tulsa World sports columnists who write extensively about the Cowboys and Sooners. Today it's just OSU with Gundy and the Cowboys season a topic, Bill, and maybe more an uncomfortable one after what happened at TCU Saturday. OSU loses 29-22. Now the Cowboys are out of contention for a Big 12 championship, and this is a big deal because OSU made it very public earlier this year that they were hunting for championships with this team. Therefore, you got to answer to that, and there might be fallout. What do we got in terms of answering to that and fallout?
Well, with regard to Mike's employment, you mean, or the direction of? I mean, we can get that out of the way right off the bat because starting with Bedlam and then continuing through the TCU game. My phone has just blown up with people saying, "Is this the final straw? Are they ready to move on?" I just heard a caller to Jim Traber's show ask, what will OSU be ready to pay the next coach? They're not going to make a move against Mike.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a coaching change, Garen, it will be on Mike's terms.
Right.
I promise you, it will be on Mike's terms. And so I don't think he's ready to walk. His son is on the brink of becoming a member of the program. I don't think Gunner would play next year,
mm-hmm.
but I think he's being groomed, obviously, for 22 and beyond. So. But with regard to the season being a disappointment and an underachievement, there's no question.
Mm-hmm.
But you've seen the injury list like I have, and you heard Mike talk about it this morning, and it all started up front. And when the dominoes began to fall during the summer and into the season on the offensive line, I thought this might not end well for Oklahoma State, and here we are now. Going to Baylor, and I wonder if they can beat Baylor. I wonder really where their motivation is and where their heads are at this point.
I don't blame Mike at all for going where he's going right now and insisting that the issues are legitimate. The offensive line is a mess. There's no getting around that. I think the problem he has, Bill, in terms of selling excuses, regardless of how legitimate they are to fans, is not just that they don't want to hear them regardless of the circumstance, but you've got other programs having other issues of their own this year with regard to absences and position depth charts that have been blown up because of this, that, or the other. Is it going to be harder, I guess, what I'm getting at, for Mike to sell this to a frustrated fan base?
No, you're right, because it's no two programs are the same with regard to challenges and weird circumstances, and yet everybody is the same because there are unique challenges and unprecedented circumstances, right? So no, you're right. And I've seen games. I'll roll around when I have time to watch football and hear commentators talk about, well, this team has overcome tremendous injury issues at this position group, and they're still
right.
rolling. So no, you're right. Nobody wants to hear it because everybody. I was at the pep rally in January when Tylen and Chuba Hubbard said we're coming back, and from that point, and Mike Gundy that day said we're going to break a school record for season tickets. So the bar was set that
mm-hmm.
day. So that was not like Haisten and Emig or me or anybody else outside the program saying that this is the expectation. No, they said it. And then now that here we are, creeping up on Christmas, and you're wondering if they can go to Baylor and win. Furthermore, and by the way, they haven't won at Baylor in 11 years in Waco. So it's a tough way to finish the season. And, Mike was upbeat as I guess he could be coming out of that Fort Worth debacle. But are people buying it? Are people satisfied? No, the fans aren't. No.
Yeah.
This is really the antithesis of what was expected going into the year.
Yeah, and before we get out of here real quick.
It feels like a great waste, Garrett, of what was a special defense that I think might have its spirit broken a little bit now.
That's what I'm getting at real quick, because we got to scram. But you referenced motivation. There comes a point. Every man has his breaking point, and you wonder how many games does it take for OSU to reach its. Gundy continues to go out of his way to talk about what he's getting competitively out of his guys with all the limitations. The question is, and that's a big one now moving forward for whatever season they have left. How longer can Mike rely on that?
I don't know. I mean, I think we'll be able to know by the end of the first quarter at Waco whether they went down there with a purpose. You know what I mean? And you can't even say they as in 100 guys, but you'll be able to tell pretty immediately in that game whether they remember to take some ferocity and actual engagement with them to Waco. Because if they don't, you saw Baylor 2 nights ago. I mean, it's maybe the most not now. Should Baylor beat OSU? No, probably not. But could they? Absolutely, they could. And they've been this close in a bunch of games, and they just stressed the heck out of OU. So it's no question. It's a tough game at a tough time. But you know what? I mean, it's a great opportunity for Gundy to do something that would improve his own position with the fan base. And if they went down there and had a statement performance and a victory.
All right.
Turn or fix everything, but it would be a hell of a lot better than the alternative, which is if they go down there and play badly and get beat.
Yeah.
Which would intensify the heat.
No doubt. All right. Keep reading what Bill writes, I write, Frank Bonner writes. If you're following the Cowboys, we've got plenty more to give you this week at TulsaWorld.com.